This video is about the mom took her kids to the farmhouse and a rich stranger started a conversation. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. The wheels of the old station wagon crunched against the gravel driveway as Alina pulled into the sprawling country farmhouse. She had chosen this weekend escape to provide her two children, Lily and Max, with a break from the city and antidote to the chaos of their urban life. Look at the chickens! Max shouted, his excitement bubbling over as he unbuckled himself, his bright blue eyes wide with wonder. At 7, he was still in that magical age where everything was new and thrilling. Wait for me, you little tornado. Lily, 11 and already too cool for her brother-esque exuberance, rolled her eyes but couldn't hide her smile. Don't scare them away. Alina chuckled softly, watching them dash toward the small pen where the hens clucked nervously. She took a moment to breathe in the crisp air, the scent of freshly mowed grass mingling with the earthy aroma of the farm. This was what she needed, a break from spreadsheets and conference calls, from the pressure of being a single mother. She stepped out of the car, her sandals sinking slightly into the soft earth. Her mind drifted momentarily to the whirlwind of her life back home. The new job, the endless responsibilities, and the looming shadow of her failed marriage. The weight of it all felt lighter here among the quiet beauty of the farmhouse. Mom, come see. Max's voice broke her reverie. She turned to see him crouch down, his small hands reaching out towards a fluffy chick that had wandered too far from its mother. Be gentle, Max, she called, moving closer. As she knelt beside him, she caught a glimpse of a figure on the periphery of her vision. A man stood leaning against the fence, arms casually crossed. He was impeccably dressed in a fitted shirt and tailored jeans, his dark hair tousled as if he had just stepped off a yacht rather than a farmhouse. There was an easy confidence about him, an air of wealth that contrasted starkly with the rustic setting. Looks like you've just made a new friend, he said, his voice smooth and warm, drawing her attention like a moth to a flame. Max's head jerked up, and for a moment he stared at the stranger, his small mouth agape. Aha, he responded, glancing between the man and the chick. Hey there, Alina said, forcing a smile despite the slight flutter of nerves in her stomach. We were just visiting for the weekend. Nice to meet you. I am Jack, he introduced himself with a charming smile that revealed a hint of mischief, making it impossible for her to look away from his striking green eyes. Jack? Alina echoed, feeling a strange pull towards him, a flicker of something she hadn't felt in a long time. Are you local? Sort of, he replied, pushing off the fence and stepping closer. I manage the farm for the owner. It is a bit of a side gig for me. I am usually busy with my company in the city, but I love coming out here whenever I can. Oh, so you're a city guy too? Lena noticed the way he studied her, his gaze lingering on her face, making her heart race unexpectedly. Guilty, he said, a teasing smile playing at the corners of his lips. But I prefer the countryside when I can escape it. She nodded, feeling the tension hang in the air, current of chemistry that buzzed just beneath the surface. I can understand that. It is peaceful here. Mom, can we keep it? Max chimed in, his eyes shining with hope as he cradled the chick in his hands. Alina bit her lip torn. We can keep a chicken, buddy. We not set up for that. Please, he pleaded, his voice rising slightly. Lily stepped in, her brow furrowed. Max, Mom said no. We can just take a chicken home. Jack chuckled, his laughter low and rich. You know, there is a petting zoo nearby. They might have some more friendly animals you can visit. Maybe they'd let you hold one. Really? Max exclaimed, eyes wide with excitement. Yeah, Jack replied, glancing back at Alina, a spark of playful energy in the air between them. It is a perfect way to spend the afternoon, I can assure you. Alina hesitated, a tingle of discomfort threading through her thoughts. This man was a stranger, and her instinct to protect her children kicked in. But there was a part of her that yearned to embrace the spontaneity, to allow her children to experience joy without the constant constraints of her worries. I don't think as she started, but Jack's expression was earnest, his excitement contagious. Just a short trip, he assured her, his voice inviting. I promise they'll have a blast. You can come too, if you do like. The invitation hung in the air, and Alina found herself weighing the possibilities. It is fine, Mom, Lily chimed in, clearly eager to break from their usual routine. We'll be safe, right? Yeah, Mom, it'll be fun. Max added, his enthusiasm sparking a flicker of hope that maybe they could enjoy this trip together without the usual constraints of her anxiety. Alina sighed, feeling the pressure of her children's eager eyes on her. Okay, just for a little while, she relented, her voice firm yet soft. The decision felt impulsive, but there was something about Jack's presence that was disarming, as if he could light a fire beneath her inhibitions. "Great, follow me," he said, turning on his heel, gesturing for them to come along. Max and Lily ran ahead, bubbling with excitement as Jack began to lead the way. As they walked side by side, Elena felt a rush of conflicting emotions. There was a thrill in the air, a tension that buzzed just beneath the surface. She couldn't deny that she found Jack intriguing, magnetic even, but the wariness of her past echoed in her mind. "What do you do in the city?" she asked, trying to keep the conversation light, but unable to hide the curiosity that gnawed at her. "I run a tech startup," he replied casually, glancing over with an easy grin. "We're redeveloping some sustainable innovations. It's a lot of work, but rewarding. What about you? What is your world like?" Elena hesitated, weighing how much to share. "I am in marketing," she said finally. "It is a bit boring, to be honest, but it pays the bills." A playful spark flickered in Jack's eyes. "Boring can be comforting, though. Sometimes I wish I could trade a little excitement for some normalcy." "Normalcy? You mean like running after kids and dealing with school projects?" She laughed, her heart racing at the sudden intimacy of their exchange. "Exactly. Sounds like quite the adventure," he replied, his gaze holding hers a moment too long, and in that fleeting moment she felt her pulse quicken. Before they reached the petting zoo, Max dashed back, his excitement bubbling over again. "Mom, can we ride the ponies too?" Elena smiled, watching her son's enthusiasm. "Maybe, but let us see how things go first." Jack nodded, his expression serious for a moment. "I'll make sure they're safe, I promise." As they approached the petting zoo, Elena felt her inner conflict deepening. This stranger was charming, but could she trust him? The weight of her past loomed over her like a shadow, reminding her of the fragility of relationships and the risks of opening her heart. But at the same time, she couldn't ignore the undeniable chemistry that crackled between them. For the first time in years, she could almost imagine stepping outside her carefully constructed walls, if only for a moment. "Are you ready for some fun?" Jack asked, his voice low, drawing her attention back to the present. Elena took a deep breath, her heart racing. "I think so," she replied softly, a hint of uncertainty and curiosity colored in her tone. With that, they stepped into the petting zoo, a world where joy and laughter mingled, and where the boundaries of her past began to blur, if only for a fleeting moment. As the day unfolded, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that this weekend might change everything. The birds hung lazily in the sky as they entered the petting zoo, the air filled with the sweet scent of hay and the cheerful sounds of animals calling to each other. Max started ahead, excitement propelling him forward, while Lily lingered close to Elena, her demeanor a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. "This place is awesome," Max exclaimed, his small hands reaching out to pet a fluffy goat that approached him, its ears twitching in anticipation. "Hey, look at this one," Jack called, beckoning Elena and Lily over to a pen filled with baby goats, their playful antics making even Elena's heart swell with warmth. As they approached, Jack knelt down, extending his hand to a small goat that eagerly nuzzled against him. "They love attention," he said, glancing up at Elena with a grin that sparked a rush of heat in her cheeks. "Just like kids." She laughed, trying to shake off the flurry of emotions tumbling inside her. "Yeah, they were definitely a handful." Jack's gaze lingered on her, an intensity in his eyes that made her pulse quicken. "A handful can be fun, though, wouldn't you agree?" Elena met his gaze, feeling a flutter of something that was both thrilling and terrifying. "Depends on the situation," she replied, her voice teasing yet cautious, laden with the weight of her past. "Let us find out," he said, his eyes dancing with mischief. The connection between them felt electric, a tension that danced with every shared glance. "Max, you have to be gentle," Lily called, watching as her brother tried to catch a particularly rambunctious goat. She rolled her eyes but couldn't suppress a smile. "You were going to scare them away. Come here, little buddy." Max laughed, finally managing to scoop up the goat in his arms, cradling it with a beaming smile of victory. Elena felt a tug at her heart as she watched her children's joy unfold in front of her, but a shadow of doubt lingered in her mind. Should she really be spending time with a stranger? Her instinct screamed caution, filling her with apprehension. Jack seemed to sense her hesitation as he turned to her, his expression softening. "Hey, it is okay. I promise I am not a serial killer," he joked lightly, attempting to ease the tension. Elena chuckled, but felt the knot in her stomach tighten. "I know you're not," she said, though the uncertainty lingered. "It is just I am not used to this." He raised an eyebrow, a teasing smile curving on his lips. Spending time with someone I barely know, she clarified, crossing her arms defensively. Especially after everything. Jack's expression shifted, understanding deepening in his green eyes. I get it, trust takes time, but sometimes, stepping out of your comfort zone can lead to amazing things. Alina studied him, the sincerity in his voice disarming her defenses just a little. You make it sound so easy. It can be, he replied, moving closer, the distance between them shrinking as the laughter of children and the bleating of goats faded into the background. Just think of it as an adventure. An adventure, she echoed, her heart racing at the implication. Was she really ready for that? Yeah. Jack's gaze bore into hers, a mix of challenge and invitation. Life is too short to play it safe all the time. Just then, Max ran over, the goats squirming in his grasp. Mom, can we feed them? The innocence in his eyes brought a smile to Alina's face, momentarily distracting her from her internal conflict. Sure, I think they have some feed over there, she pointed, feeling grateful for the interruption. As they moved toward the feeding station, the momentary tension dissipated, replaced by the joyful chaos of children laughing and animals munching contentedly. Alina watched as Max and Lily took turns feeding the goats, their laughter ringing in the air like music. You're a great mom, Jack said quietly, leaning in closer so only she could hear. His breath brushed against her ear, sending shivers down her spine. Alina turned to him, surprised by the compliment. Thanks, but I feel like I am just winging it most days, she admitted, a hint of vulnerability creeping into her voice. Winging it is part of the adventure, he replied, his tone serious yet warm. You are doing amazing things for them, even if you don't always see it. She felt her defenses soften. You really think so? Absolutely, he affirmed, his green eyes holding hers, shining with sincerity. It shows in their smiles, in how they trust you. A warmth spread through her chest, and for a moment the weight of her insecurities lightened. They stood close, the world around them fading as if nothing else mattered. Okay, enough with the mushy stuff, who wants to ride ponies? Max shouted, breaking the spell. Jack stepped back, a playful grin re-emerging. I think that's our cue. Let us go, cowboy. As they made their way to the pony rides, Alina felt a mix of exhilaration and anxiety bubbling within her. Could she allow herself to be swept up in the lightness of the day? To embrace this moment without the constant reminders of her past? Lily rolled her eyes again, but there was a hint of excitement in her voice as she said, I can't wait to ride. Do you think I'll be able to pick a fast one? Only if you can handle it, Jack teased, nudging her playfully. Alina marveled at how easily he connected with her children, how they gravitated to him like moths to a flame. It made her heart swell with a strange mixture of warmth and trepidation. As they approached the pony ride area, she felt a slight tug at her heartstring. The laughter of her children mingled with that of other families, creating a symphony of joy that echoed around them. Jack leaned down to whisper in her ear, You know, seeing them smile like this makes it all worth it, doesn't it? Alina nodded, momentarily lost in the depth of his gaze. It does, she responded, her heart racing as an unexpected twinge of longing washed over her. But just then, a woman approached, her perfectly styled hair and designer outfit standing in stark contrast to the rustic backdrop. She walked straight up to Jack, her expression brightening as she reached out to him. Jack, I didn't know you were here. Alina felt a rush of jealousy, sharp and unexpected, as Jack turned to greet the woman. Hey, Caroline, just showing some friends around. The woman's eyes flicked to Alina, a smile playing at her lips, clearly sizing her up. Oh, friends, huh, she said, her tone light but pointed. Isn't it a bit early for that? Alina's heart sank, uncertainty creeping back in. Was she just a passing moment for Jack? A fleeting encounter during his weekend? Mom, can I ride now? Max's voice broke through her thoughts, his face lit up with excitement. She turned to him, forcing a smile despite the knot in her stomach. Of course, let us get you set up, she said, her voice steadier than she felt. As they approached the pony ride, Jack glanced back at her, an apologetic look in his eyes. I'll be right back, he said softly, as if sensing her unease. Alina nodded, focusing on her children, but her heart ached with uncertainty. She wanted to believe in the possibility of something more, but the sudden appearance of an exuding woman beside Jack made her doubt inch back into her mind. As the ponies ambled past, and the sound of laughter burst around them, Alina felt caught between hope and apprehension. Could she truly let go, if just for a moment? As she held her breath, she understood that this weekend would challenge everything she thought she knew about herself, about trust, and perhaps even about love. Alina watched as Jack walked away, the sway of his confident stride leaving an imprint in the air. She felt an ache in her chest, a mixture of confusion and disappointment, as the vibrant atmosphere of the petting zoo buzzed around her. "Mom, look at my pony," Max shouted, his excitement unabated as he climbed atop a gentle brown pony. His little legs struggled to stay in place as he gripped the saddle tightly. "Hold on tight, buddy," she called, a smile breaking through her momentary gloom. The sight of her son's joy was infectious, and she couldn't help but feel a flicker of warmth in her heart. "Can I ride with him?" Lily asked, bouncing on the balls of her feet, her voice teetering between eagerness and impatience. "Let us see how Max does first," Alina replied, trying to keep her tone light despite the turmoil within. She glanced back toward where Jack had disappeared, but he was lost behind the crowd, mingling with Caroline. "Hey, Mom?" Max's voice cut through her thoughts. "This is the best day ever. Can we come back tomorrow?" Alina hesitated, her heart a mix of affection and worry. "I'll see. Let us enjoy today first," she said, watching as a wide grin stretched across Max's face. As the pony ride started, the gentle sway of the animals seemed to echo her own restless heart. Each time the pony took a step, her thoughts drifted back to Jack and Caroline. Was there something more between them? A flicker of jealousy ignited within her, leaving her feeling slightly unmoored. "Look at me, Mom," Max called out, waving his arms as if he was a rodeo champion. His laughter rang out like music, and next to her, Lily clapped, her skepticism softened by her brother's exuberance. "Just don't he fall off?" Alina laughed, her heart swelling with pride. "You're a natural." Yet, just as she settled into the moment, she couldn't shake the unease. The way Caroline had approached Jack felt far too familiar, and the way Jack had smiled at her, was it just friendliness, or had there been something deeper? As the ride finished, and the ponies trotted back to their pens, Alina felt her stomach knot. Jack emerged from the crowd, but this time he was accompanied by Caroline, who was now laughing at something he had said. Alina's heart sank. "Great ride, right?" Jack said, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm as he approached, but the warmth in his voice felt distant. "Yeah, it was awesome," Max shouted, nearly bouncing off the ground. "Mom said we might be able to come back." "Really? That would be fantastic," Jack responded, his gaze flicking to Alina, an unspoken question lingering between them. "Caroline was just telling me about some other activities we could do here," he added, gesturing to the woman beside him. Alina forced a smile, her heart racing with a mixture of emotions. "Oh, that sounds fun," she said, though her voice betrayed none of her inner turmoil. "I am glad you were here," Caroline chimed in, her tone sweet yet edged with something that Alina couldn't quite define. "It's nice to see Jack spending his time with the family. He usually sticks to business." "Yeah, just a little break," Jack replied lightly, a casualness in his demeanor that felt almost practiced. Max interrupted, oblivious to the tension. "Can we ride again?" he asked, bouncing on his feet. "Let us take a break first, okay?" Alina said, trying to keep her voice steady despite the storm of emotions within her. "How about we find something to eat?" "Good idea," Jack agreed, his eyes still on her, but his attention seemed divided by Caroline. As they made their way to a small cafe that overlooked the vibrant fields, Alina felt a disquiet settle around her. The scent of fresh lemonade and hot dogs filled the air, but it fell flat against her growing anxiety. "You know, I could really use a break from work," Jack said, pulling up a chair beside Alina. "How do you balance it all?" Alina looked at him, surprised by the question. "It's not easy," she admitted, her voice softening as she reflected on her reality. "I often feel like I am juggling too many balls in the air." "I get that," he replied, leaning in slightly. "It is tough to find that balance, especially when you're trying to be a good parent." "Yeah," she said, her heart fluttering at the sincerity in his gaze. "But it is worth it. I want them to have the best." "Your kids are lucky to have you," he replied, a warmth in his eyes that made her pulse quicken. Just then, Caroline interjected, her tone bright yet pointed. "Well, Jack has his own challenges running a startup, but there's a lot of pressure, I imagine." Trying to regain her footing, Alina looked toward Caroline, forcing a smile. "I can imagine. It must take a lot of dedication." "The dedication and the right team," Jack said, his gaze fixed firmly on Alina, as though Caroline didn't exist. "I wouldn't be able to do this without them." Alina felt a small thrill at his focus on her. "So you enjoy it? The work? The excitement?" "It is exhilarating, really, but it is a lot of stress," he confided, the intensity in his gaze making her heart race. "But moments like this remind me why it is all worth it." Mom, can I have a lemonade? Max shouted, his face lit up with happiness as he approached the cafe window. Of course I'll get you one, Alina replied, standing up. The momentary distraction felt like a relief, a chance to step away from the tension. Wait, I'll help, Jack offered, following her. As they stood in line, Alina felt the air between them thicken with anticipation. So, what about you? She asked, trying to steer the conversation back to safer territory. Do you have any hobbies outside of work? Mostly adventure, he replied, a hint of mischief in his eyes. I enjoy hiking, rock climbing, anything that gets my adrenaline pumping. Adventurous, she remarked, her voice teasing. I guess that is how you ended up working on a farm, too. He chuckled, his smile infectious. It's a nice change of pace, really, but I have to admit I do sometimes miss the thrill of the city. I think it is nice to escape sometimes, Alina said, feeling a connection deepen. Especially when there is so much chaos back home. Jack's expression softened as he leaned closer. Chaos can be alluring, but so can peace. It is about finding the right balance. The lemonade arrived, and Alina took the cups, grateful for the distraction. As they returned to the table, she felt the weight of her doubts slowly lifting. Here you go, buddy, she declared, handing Max his drink. And there's one for you too, Lily. Thanks, Mom, they chorused, their excitement palpable. Alina took a sip of her lemonade, letting the tartness wash over her. But as she looked over at Jack, she saw Caroline leaning in closer to him, animatedly discussing something. The knot in her stomach returned, tightening with each passing moment. Jack, are you coming to the barbecue later? Caroline asked, her voice ringing with familiarity. Alina felt a rush of heat in her cheeks, this sharp twist of jealousy striking deep. Suddenly, she didn't want to see the connection they shared. She wanted to pull away, to protect herself from the hurt of being just another moment in Jack's life. I might stop by, Jack replied, glancing back at Alina. I'll see how things go here first. Caroline's smile faltered for a moment, and Alina felt a flicker of satisfaction before her guilt crept in. Was she really going to let jealousy dictate her experience? Can we have cupcakes too? Max piped up, his innocent joy cutting through the tension. Alina turned to him, thankful for the distraction. Sure, sweetie, if you finish your lemonade first. As they all sat together, sharing laughter and cupcakes, Alina felt the world around her begin to warp with possibilities. Could she really let herself enjoy this moment? The warmth of connection with Jack felt intoxicating, but the shadow of uncertainty lingered. Hey, do you want to join us later? Jack asked, his tone genuine, pulling her out of her reverie. We were going to have a little barbecue at the farmhouse. I think it'll be fun. Alina hesitated, her heart racing. I don't know, she said, slowly weighing her options. I mean, what if Caroline is there? Caroline is just a friend, Jack remarked, a hint of irritation creeping into his tone. I'd like to spend more time with you and the kids, plus, it would be great to have you there. The invitation hung in the air, heavy with implications. She felt the tightness in her chest loosen slightly, and for the first time, she allowed a flicker of hope to break through her defenses. Okay, she said finally, her. The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over the farmhouse as Alina and her children reveled in the sweetness of their afternoon together. Jack's invitation to join the barbecue lingered in the air, and a part of her felt a rush of exhilaration at the thought. Mom, can we go ride the ponies again? Max pleaded, his eyes sparkling with the thrill of the day. Please, I want to ride the fastest one this time. Alina chuckled, the innocence of her son's enthusiasm momentarily soothing her worries. Let us finish eating first, okay? Then we'll see if there's time. Fine, he huffed, crossing his arms in mock frustration, but unable to suppress a grin. But I am gonna ride the fastest pony. Good luck with that, Lily teased, rolling her eyes. You'll probably just end up falling off. I want tea, and I'll show you both. Max shot back, his competitive spirit ignited. Jack watched the banter with an amused expression, leaning back in his chair and taking another sip of lemonade. You've got quite the little cowboy there, Alina, he remarked, his voice warm and playful. He has definitely got spirit, she replied, a smile tugging at her lips. Unfortunately, he gets that from his father. The moment felt charged, an unspoken connection weaving through their conversation. Jack's gaze held hers, an intensity that sent shivers down her spine. Kids are resilient though, they bounce back quickly. Yeah, well, sometimes I wonder if they'll end up okay, she said softly, her heart flickering with vulnerability. It has a lot of pressure to make sure they grow up right. Jack's expression shifted, an understanding passing between them. "You're doing great, Alina. Just look at how happy they are." As if on cue, Max and Lily erupted into laughter, their voices a sweet melody that filled the air. It was the kind of joy Alina had fought to preserve amid the chaos of her life. "Maybe I am doing something right," she mused, her heart swelling with pride as she watched them. "But I still have moments where I doubt myself." Jack leaned forward, his eyes never leaving hers. "Doubt is a part of the journey, but facing it, embracing it, that's where the magic happens." There was something in his tone that ignited a warmth deep within her. She felt herself teetering on the edge of vulnerability, drawn toward Jack in a way that both thrilled and terrified her. But just as the gazes locked, Caroline's voice broke through the moment like a sudden storm. "Jack, are you coming?" The woman approached with a dazzling smile, her designer clothes catching the light. "We were getting everything ready for the barbecue." Alina's heart sank as she watched the interaction unfold. Caroline was the epitome of poised confidence, her presence a stark contrast to Alina's simple attire. Jack turned to Caroline, a smile lighting up his face that made Alina's stomach twist with jealousy. "Yeah, just finishing up here," he said, glancing back at Alina, his gaze lingering for just a moment longer. "We were just talking about the kids and how to balance everything." Caroline's laughter rang out, bright and melodic. "Well, you're a master at juggling, aren't you? But you're not going to leave me alone at the grill, are you?" Alina felt a rush of heat flood her cheeks, but she forced a smile, determined not to let her insecurity show. "I am sure Jack is more than capable in that department." "Absolutely," Jack replied, a playful grin on his face. He turned to Alina, his expression softening. "But I'd still love to see you and the kids there. It would be fun." "For you, maybe," Caroline chimed in, her tone playful but edged with a hint of possessiveness. "You've got your hands full with that family." The implication hung heavy in the air, and Alina felt a knot tighten in her stomach. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was a mere distraction, a fleeting moment in Jack's life. "Mom, can we ride now?" Max called out again, interrupting the tension. "Yes, let us go," Alina said, relief flooding through her. She stood up, drawing her children with her, grateful for the opportunity to escape the weight of the moment. "Wait, I'll come with you," Jack said, rising from his seat and following them. As they headed toward the pony area, Alina felt the atmosphere shift once more. The air buzzed with laughter and excitement, and the gentle sounds of children playing enveloped them. "I can't wait to see you ride, Max," Jack encouraged, his tone warm and enthusiastic. "Just remember to hold on tight." Max grinned, determination radiating from him. "I will. I am gonna be the best rider ever." The ride began, and Alina's heart raced as she watched her children climb atop the ponies, their faces alight with joy. She felt a sense of pride, but the tension from earlier lingered, and occasionally her gaze flickered back to Caroline as she chatted animatedly with other guests. Jack stayed close, cheering Max on, and every moment of laughter shared between them felt like a fleeting treasure. Each glance exchanged held unspoken promises, igniting a small spark of hope. After the ponies finished their ride, they all wandered over to the barbecue area, where the aroma of grilled burgers filled the air. The atmosphere was festive, families mingling and children running around with ice cream cones, innocence radiating from every corner. "Jack," a man called out, waving him over. "We were almost ready to start grilling." "Just a second," Jack shouted back, turning to Alina. "Want to help me pick out some burgers?" Alina felt a flicker of joy at the invitation, but her heart sank as Caroline interjected. "I'll help you. Jack, let us get that grill fired up." Alina hesitated for a moment, caught between wanting to join Jack and feeling like an outsider. "I think I'll take the kids over to get some drinks," she said, forcing a smile. "Okay, we'll catch up in a bit," Jack replied, his eyes briefly searching hers. As she led Max and Lily away, she couldn't shake the feeling of being sidelined. They found a nearby cooler filled with various drinks, but her heart raced with uncertainty. "Mom, can I have soda?" Max asked, his voice bursting with excitement. "Sure, just one," she replied, her mind still churning with thoughts of Jack. "Can we hurry back? I want to eat." Lily chimed in, her eyes darting toward the grill. They grabbed their drinks and headed back to the barbecue area, where the laughter and chatter enveloped them like a warm blanket. Jack was animatedly discussing grilling techniques with Caroline, and the sight twisted something deep within Alina. "Look, there's the pony ride," Max exclaimed, pulling at her hand. "Can we go again after food?" "Maybe," Alina replied absently, her gaze drifting back toward Jack. He caught her eye, and in a fleeting moment, The world around them faded away. "Can you help me with the toppings?" Jack asked, stepping away from Caroline's conversation. "Of course," Alina said, her heart racing. As they moved closer together, the scent of grilled meat and fresh herbs surrounded them, and the air crackled with potential. Caroline's laughter rang out again, cutting through the moment. "Jack, you were going to burn the burgers if you keep chatting," she teased, her tone light but with an edge. Alina felt a pang of annoyance but swallowed it down, focusing on Jack. "So, what is the secret ingredient?" she asked, trying to keep the atmosphere playful. He leaned in closer, his voice low. "A little bit of everything, but mostly just a good attitude." Alina chuckled, drawn to the warmth in his gaze. "I'll remember that next time I am cooking for the kids." Jack paused, studying her with an intensity that sent her heart racing. "You know, you're doing an amazing job. I admire that so much." Her cheeks flushed at the praise, an unexpected wave of vulnerability crashing over her. "Thanks, it's just tough sometimes." "It is, but it seems like you're managing it all just fine," he encouraged, his tone earnest. "Your kids are lucky to have you." The warmth in his voice wrapped around her, and for a moment everything else faded away. Just then, Max and Lily returned, their faces smeared with ice cream. "Can we have burgers now?" Max asked, an innocent enthusiasm that made Alina smile despite her worries. "Absolutely, buddy," Jack said, his attention shifting back to the kids, and the moment between them dissipated. As they gathered their plates and made their way to find seats, Alina felt a weight of her earlier doubts settle back in. But as they sat together, watching the sun continue to deplore, painting the sky in brilliant hues of orange and pink, she felt a flicker of hope. Jack's laughter mingled with that of her children, and for a moment, the shadows of the past felt just a little less heavy. "Hey, you guys," Jack announced, raising his burger in salute. "To new friends and new adventures,